Alright, so I'm actually planning on doing music reviews on this channel as well. So that'll include album reviews, maybe song reviews, just band discussions, just maybe general music discussions about whatever I want to discuss, because I maybe don't have an outlet or platform to discuss it here in my daily life, so I might as well just do it here. There might be people that's interested and might be having an engaging discussion about it. But anyway, so I wanted to do that maybe a bit more regularly going forward. And so yeah, so today I wanted to start off, and I thought no better time to start now than with a band that I've known for, what, 14 years now, I think. So it's been probably 2006 is the first time I discovered this band. So it's an American band, one of the titans of the progressive metal genre and movement that started back in the 80s. So you had three, right? Queensryche, Dream Theater, and Fates Warning. So Fates Warning have been by far out of these three the most underrated and under-recognized for their contributions, I think, to metal in general, because they're now in their fourth decade and they're still releasing such high quality music, high quality content, and they're willing to, in true essence of the word, progressive, explore different musical genre realms and explore different territories and not be afraid to take risks. And even if those risks might have not paid off commercially or might have not paid off critically sometimes, they still have remained authentic to their style and done what they wanted. And at least you can hear that in the music, and that's something that I've respected. That's something that I've always respected, even if before, when I started listening to the band, I wasn't listening to them maybe as diligent or as enthusiastically as I was listening to Dream Theater back then. Maybe then I was listening to more technical stuff and Opeth and Porcupine Tree and bands like that. So I was listening to more of those kind of bands. I was listening to Fates Warning as well, but not as much as that I've been listening to now over the last probably 6-7 years, and especially over the last 4 years since Theories of Flight, and actually since Darkness, I'd say even more, because when they came back, it just made me curious to just explore the discography again, and it made me have a whole new different kind of level of appreciation for the band and the musicality and the songwriting and just the maturity and sophistication with which main songwriter Jim Matheos, who I think is a musical genius, the way he handles the music with dignity and sophistication and maturity. So that's something that's resonated a bit more with me, probably in my older age, because I've matured just generally as a person, and so the lyrics probably, and just the musical mood, is something that probably resonates with me more now than when I was younger. But anyway, sorry, I just maybe I'm a little passionate, so I'm discussing a little bit of the history behind it and emotions behind it. But anyway, so yeah, so it's a band that's been in my life and for various different phases and in different intensities and probably, yeah, like sometimes maybe some years I might have not listened to it at all. Sometimes I would listen to it every month, every day, whatever. So it's been interesting, the relationship. But yeah, so the reason I started the video now is because they just released a new song that's coming off their upcoming album, which is I think it's Long Day Good Night, if I'm not wrong. I should have done my research before, but yeah, I think it's Long Day Good Night, and the album artwork's out. It's 13 tracks. And yeah, so I think it's Scars. That's the first track that they released, a single, and now they're actually signed to Metal Blade now. They were on Inside Out, but they moved to Metal Blade now, and so they've released the video on Metal Blade's YouTube channel as well as Fates Warning's own personal YouTube channel, so you can check it out there, or maybe I'll even add a link in the description below. So yeah, so the song that's been released is, alright, so let me give you a little bit more context. So Jim Matheos has been working on a couple of albums prior to this, which have, I think, have been raising my anticipation, or at least shaping my expectations a little bit, and as to what kind of sound he might be going for this album. So Theories of Flight being one of them, the 2016, the last album, which is absolutely stellar. I'm probably going to do a review on it separately. For any fan of progressive metal music, it is a must listen. Like, you have to check this album out and give it time, because Fates Warning music always takes a lot of time to actually digest and appreciate. So But I'd highly recommend that. But anyway, I'll probably do a review later, and so you can probably check it out and see if it's your cup of tea or not. But anyway, so based off that album, and he did an album on his other project, which is called Arch Matheos, and that album is Winter Ethereal, and that was 2019, I think, so last year. So both of these albums are heavy. They're heavy in terms of the instrumentation is pretty heavy. The mix is pretty condensed. It's dense. So it's spacing. It's like you can hear all the instruments really clearly, especially the drums and the guitars. They've been mixed in an extremely stellar fashion, because the way that you can hear the toms, the cymbals, all that kind of stuff, the intricacies, you can hear them, but it also has the intensity that the drive that the music requires, because some of the guitar playing here it is some of the heaviest stuff I've heard in the last 4 or 5 years, right? And just because he's an underrated musician, Jim Matheos, and underrecognized, people don't discuss it more often. But some of the guitar sounds, the guitar tones, the guitar engineering, the production, you have to listen, just appreciate it as a fan of metal, because its sound quality, the way the mix it's stellar. So based off that, I had expectations of maybe how this would sound, and he would maintain this kind of production. So coming to the song Scars now. So the mix and production is tame, is probably the word I'd use, tame and timid by those standards that I was expecting. And now that I've listened to the song's been out maybe for a couple of days, or maybe came out yesterday. So, and I could be obsessive when it comes to some songs, and if I want to listen to them, I've already listened to it probably 30, 40 times, or maybe more. I lose count, so maybe since yesterday. And so, and I took time away from it and listened to it again, just to see how I feel about it. So the song is good. The song is good. It's what I'd expect from a single. Let's put it that way. It's an album of 13 tracks, so I'm guessing that they're going to be a lot more shorter songs, like they were on the album before Theories of Flight, which was Darkness in a Different Light. So that one also had about 10 or 11 tracks. So I think it's going to be similar to that. Lots of shorter tracks, and so this one it's more of a straight rocker or straight heavy metal song, or alternative metal song, even the kind of guitar sound that they have, and the kind of the way that the melodies are, just the riffs are. So I think it's more straightforward thing. So that's probably what I would expect from a single. So I'm not too surprised. So it's nothing overwhelming, but I'm not going to make a judgment on the entire album based on the single. Definitely not. So. But it's a good song. The first main riff that comes, it's a nice driving, chugging riff. And this is something that Jim Matheos, I think, really excels in. His rhythm playing is rhythmic, for lack of a better word. But he's got such a great understanding of time and such a great grasp of time, and he's got a drummer that really complements his sense of time, because he's also got a great sense of time, who is Bobby Jarzambek. And Bobby Jarzambek, being Bobby Jarzambek, is creative in his drumming, and he's technical, and he can show it off, but he does it in a melodic way that serves the song. So it is technical, and you're like, wow, that was pretty interesting. That he's doing a lot. He can be doing a lot at times, but I always, especially after multiple listens, really warm up to it, because it's just creative, and he fills the holes really nicely, and he fills the mix really nicely. He's got a really good understanding of the mix. And I think him and Jim complement each other really well, because they both have a really, really nice understanding of how to use the mix to its full advantage. When you've got the left and right channels, how Jim can have two different riffs at the same time, and they could be just complementing each other. They sound different, especially if you wear one earphone at a time. You won't be able to hear the other riff, and you can hear how different they are. So he's got the mind of two guitarists, or multiple. Sometimes he's got 3 or 4 layers. Sometimes he's got 2 heavy electric distorted layers, and then he's got an ethereal, really soothing guitar layer in the mix that's gonna basically supplement a keyboard, and then he's got just a basic clean kind of guitar tone as well. So it's like 4 layers sometimes, but he does it really gracefully, and it doesn't sound overcrowded, because once you listen to it many times and digest it, everything makes sense, because it's filling that. It's like he's painted the canvas, and he's filling it really nicely. And so Bobby as well, just the way he's understanding. So they've got a great musicality and great understanding of the music, and how to fill the space, and how to just make sure that there's always a sense of drive, like, and a rhythm, and you can just bob your head to it, right? It's technical, and you can have odd time signatures, but they're not they're not like showing off about it or making it jagged, jarred. It's always somehow it's groovy, and that's what I really like about that. That they always do it really well and really tastefully. So the song's got those kind of elements to it, which I expected from them. So it's not something, nothing remarkable, but it's a decent single. I'm still looking forward to seeing how the album's going to turn out. My expectations, unfortunately, have been a bit lower just because I can be picky about production and mix. So that's why I'm like, oh, when I was listening to the song, I was like, oh man, I wish it was a bit beefier and chunkier. It seems a bit tamer and a bit more, I don't know, it doesn't seem as rich. But the mix is still nice. It's still, you can, like, Bobby's drums are, you can still hear them spaced out, but they just don't seem as expansive. It just seems like the mix is still condensed, right? You can still hear all the instruments, but it seems kind of more condensed somehow. The guitars are still a bit loud, but then the vocals are, I guess, the loudest. And how could I not talk about the vocals? But basically, the vocals are the loudest in the mix. But apart from that, the mix seems a bit tame. But anyway, so that may have tempered my expectations. But in the context of the album, maybe it makes sense. So that's why I'm gonna wait for the album. So I'm not gonna judge it based on that. But it's my most anticipated release of the last, what, probably 3-4 years, since Theories, I guess. Since that album, I started to recognize that, dude, okay, you know what, Jim Matthias cannot, like, he's allergic to writing bad music somehow. But anyway, so yeah, so getting to the vocals, Ray, dude, like, are you getting younger? What the hell's going on here? This is crazy. Like, his voice sounds so crisp still, it sounds so smooth, the melodies are really nice and soothing. Right, it's more of an alternative metal track, so and Ray still has more of the melodic vocal take on it, and not like he does on maybe on Engine that I would have expected, because the song sounds more of like an OSI or Engine or that kind of grittier song, but Ray still handles it really gracefully. His voice is just getting better with age. Like on Theories, it was amazing. On Darkness, it was still amazing. Obviously, it's always been amazing, and he adapted it really well. That's the thing with Ray. Like, even if the range is diminished, he's still been able to adapt his voice really well, because he's always been focused on melodies. His strength has been melody. Have been writing good melodies that fit in the music and suit the music really well, right? And that's why this whole team has been working really well, and that's why they just keep like they're going on the ascendancy. Somehow, this late into their career, they're still releasing music, and I think Theories is another. It's like a watershed moment, and again in their careers, like it's just the quality is just going. I don't know how they maintain it so much, but anyway, so yeah, so Ray's voice is just, it's suited to the band so perfectly, and to Jim's songwriting so perfectly. So yeah, so album's actually gonna be released, I think, November 3rd, I think, or it's sorry, I should have memorized these dates before, but I'll do that in the future. But yeah, it's probably November 3rd or November 7th, 9th, but it's like first or the 3rd of November, which is too far away. Thanks, Metal Blade. But anyway, it's something I've been looking forward to. So I'm really hyped for it. I'm really hoping that this band gets their due, because this band's been underrated for too long. Like, for the kind of consistency and kind of music, the quality that they're writing, it's just about the way that they're not been maybe marketed as well as they should have been by whoever, or just they haven't been, the reach is not there, but there's an audience for them. It's just the reach, they have to be reached out to. So I'm just hoping that with every release, like with Theories, I think the recognition increased a bit more. I'm hoping with this album it will as well. So I'm wishing all the luck to you guys. But yeah, I'm sounding like a fanboy, but I'm sorry, but it's my first one. I'll start refining it and getting better with time. And I know I'm talking fast, but I'll improve the rhythm as well. Rhythm like Jim Matthias's rhythm and all that. Okay, anyway, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to the album. But anyway, it's something that I think people should check out. But in the meantime, I'm whetting my appetite with the older back catalog, but I think Theories with the most, because that album somehow, even in the last 4 years, even now, it still sounds fresh somehow. There's always like, not like I'd say like a new detail I'm finding out, but it just sounds like it still sounds like it's in the right time. You know what I mean? That this music, the album was released in the right time. It just seems modern metal, like a modern metal release, what it should be like. So I really like it. Just feels right. So I'm gonna listen to that. I've been listening to that again the last few days, so I'm gonna continue doing that, and I'd recommend you guys listen to it as well. Maybe check out the back catalog for anyone who's serious. They're on Spotify and all the streaming services and everything, so they're really worth checking out. And yeah, I'll probably review Theories like I was saying. And yeah, anyway, so hopefully you guys check this out and let me know you can give me feedback, critical feedback on maybe what I can do, improve if I'm talking too fast, maybe anything. But yeah, I'll try and refine it going forward. But yeah, hopefully you guys check it out and enjoy it. But yeah, have a good night and morning, wherever you guys are, or afternoon. Take care.